Now, while a lot of people are wasting their time playing video games or masturbating or whatever the fuck it is they're doing, a lot of people, more and more, are trying to figure out what the hell do I need to know to get the hell out of this bullshit, because I'm just like starting to drown here. It imparts a real responsibility on us, and I really understand why people don't take on that responsibility. I am not looking down on people because they don't do this. In fact, I'm one of those people. I was just as stupid as anybody on this planet. I joined the Marine Corps, for Christ's sake. What is the Marine Corps? Most people at this point have not been able to break free from that. They're stuck, and they're afraid to face it. It's been painful. Nobody cares, and they're just, watching football. And listen, we all know that's true, that too many people, sadly, are not engaging. But there are real reasons why people are there, and we should be compassionate. We shouldn't be so arrogant because we came into consciousness to expect everybody else in unison to become aware in concert with us. That's fucking arrogant. They will come around. Believe me. Stop worrying about the masses. That's not what matters. What matters is that conscious minority, those of us who care, who are learning more, who are taking responsibility. We are going to infect the rest of humanity with a new reality, one not based on a bunch of lies, where nothing but prostitutes are put up in public positions of trust. The whole system is run by a tyrannical top-level group of fucking psychopaths who have an infinite supply of money. This is the world we live in, literally. All of the sages, all of the wise and patriotic, genuine souls within our nations have talked about this battle between the bankers and the interests of the nation because they are diametrically opposed. Diametrically opposed. And we live in a world which is run by this tiny clique of bankers who happen to mostly identify as Jewish, which gets into the reasons why they don't like to hear certain words. When we talk about who runs the world, who it is, the Illuminati, the reptilians, the Jesuits, the Archons, we can go on and on and on and on. But even if one of these groups is running it, what is the vehicle to actually install this system and maintain this system of power? What is the vehicle? It's money. It's the financial system. They use that system to buy everything and everyone that can be bought. So people of honor and integrity who don't have any real interest in material wealth, people with honor and integrity who have selfless qualities, who genuinely wish to serve, those people are punished in this world, oftentimes tortured and killed. And part of the reason why, if not the reason why, is because we can't talk about certain things. I've traveled this world. I have seen from place to place to place the same thing. We all basically want the same thing. I don't care whether you call yourself a Muslim or a Christian or an atheist or whatever. I don't care if you come from Gaza. We all basically want the same thing. And another thing that we all have in common, we don't really want war. Yet we have fucking war all the time. There's always another war. Why? Because the bankers run the world and war is the best thing for them. Not only does it provide more profits for them, but more importantly, it divides people. What can divide people more than killing each other, of torturing each other? So of course they don't want peace, and the policies reflect that. And the means is what we see playing out in the Middle East right now. What we do in the West is we pay, either directly or through our proxies, Saudi Arabia, Qatar, and all these other puppet states in the Gulf, with their dirty blood fucking petro money bullshit. They flood that money into the hands of a bunch of psychopaths who work for us. They're getting the money, they're getting the weapons, they're getting the training, they're getting the coverage, and they're getting the protection of the mainstream media, who is presenting them as a real enemy that we're actually fighting, when in fact, they're our own creation, and they're there to justify our aggressive policies in the region. Do you need to go to Palestine or Iraq? I've been to both places. I have seen things and experienced people's stories that most could never even fathom. This is us. American taxpayers pay for that shit. The bomb used to level those buildings is American-made. We fucking gift that shit to Israel, and we're complicit with it. If you don't want to be invaded, if you don't want to be lied to, if you don't want to be killed, if you don't want to be raped, then you don't do that shit, and you don't pay for that shit either. Don't say not in my name. Bullshit, it is in your name with your fucking money to boot. This is the world we're living with, and the powers that be are shitting themselves because they know this morphic resonance 100 monkey. They know that that minority is becoming more aware, and they know, inevitably, it spells their doom. Information is power. The powerful have always held information to themselves. They've never allowed the masses to have access to information. This is a basic tenet of power. They violated that rule with the internet. Now, we don't have all of the truths. There's a lot of stuff hidden. And boy, if we could open up the Vatican library, oh my God, what we would find there. But they have allowed us access to information which never before in the existence of humankind have we had access to information on this level and the ability to disseminate it on an instant level globally. Let's stop playing games and pretending as if any of these political fucking prostitutes are actually going to come in and save us. They're not going to save you. They don't work for you. The last U.S. president who actually had any integrity, that guy, you know, at least Americans have one president in the last century who actually had some integrity. From 1963, Executive Order 11110. John F. Kennedy bypassed the Federal Reserve Bank. You know what John F. Kennedy and Hitler have in common? They both bypassed the Jewish bankers. Both of them. And that's their real crime. And this is what most have been afraid to say. And I genuinely believe, let's get into the whole Jewish thing. I genuinely believe that the Jewish people are being used. And they will be the sacrificial lambs when the time comes. We can sit here and debate that shit till the end of time. But why don't we deal with those concrete things which we know we can establish and we can work on now, as opposed to sitting here fucking endlessly debating a bunch of details which don't fucking matter at the end of the day. 9/11, a perfect example. No planes, thermite, nanothermite, fucking directed. Oh, Jesus, man, it's a false flag. This is the thing that matters. If you want to investigate these aspects, good, but don't sit there slinging mud and causing this division inside of society. You're working for the enemy. They're sitting there at the top of the pyramid laughing their ass off. The Jewish people have control of that system. Everything and everyone that can be bought has been bought. Who runs the governments and uses American sons and daughters as cannon fodder to go fucking fight wars for Israel so Israel can expand? How embarrassing is that? I don't even know how Americans can call themselves patriotic. You wave that stupid fucking flag and you're sending your sons and daughters off to fight a bullshit war to the point that they come back and commit suicide to the tune of 22 a day. How fucking dare you call yourself patriotic? Have you even read your Constitution? Do you even know what it is to be involved in a war? Do you have any idea the real reasons why we're doing this? You are a chump. It's completely controlled because of the financial system. The courts, the police, the military, all controlled. And the incentives are almost like he made an offer I couldn't refuse. If you love your mother and your family and whatnot, then you're going to do this for us or else we're fucking taking them right out. You can get away with this kind of shit if you have that kind of reach. You control the media. You control Hollywood. You control the politicians. You control the police. The courts. All these cases which would win in any legitimate court. No, you ain't going anywhere. It's totally amazing. And you're not allowed to talk about it. So what can we do? Long story short, we as citizens of nations have been entered into a contract, a social contract. I looked at this contract and the so-called rights that you have within that contract and the obligations that you have in that contract. I do not agree to those obligations at all. You were entered into a contract at birth. Just by its nature, that contract is not valid. In order for a contract to be valid, you have to enter into it of your own free will. You have to be able to reflect on the terms of the contract. Can you do that as a baby? No, you cannot. So you were entered into a contract which has profound impact on your ability to live as a free human being. In fact, that system is inherently about stripping you of your inherent human rights, your natural rights. It's designed for that. When you use your social security number, when you vote, when you file your income tax return, you are consenting to a system designed to strip you of your natural rights. The whole point of this system is to take power away from you and me and to give it to these cunts who fucking run the world. But they've used something, an instrument, a social contract. Why don't we have a social contract? Why haven't we created a social contract? Well, that's what I did. And it's very simple. It takes power back from the central governments and central power structures, and it takes it back into the individual and into the community. I will move to the next realm, having done the best I could to try and affect something that I and we can feel good about handing over to our children. You can never know if you're going to actually achieve the goal. Don't be attached to the end result. Just be dedicated to giving your best. That's what really matters. And our best is much better than what most of us realize.